Aggravated identity theft in New York. The increasing prevalence of aggravated identity theft in New York has drawn significant attention to the complexities and intricacies surrounding its legal implications. Allegations of this crime often result in severe penalties and extensive damage to the accused's reputation. In such scenarios, where the stakes are incredibly high, the help of a strong defense attorney becomes crucial. Aggravated identity theft, with its tangled web of federal and state laws, demands an in-depth understanding of the legal framework and a keen eye for evidentiary detail. It is not a simple matter of theft, as it might traditionally be understood, but a more complex interaction of privacy rights, digital forensics, and criminal intent. Definition of aggravated identity theft. Aggravated identity theft is a more serious form of identity theft where the offender commits additional crimes or causes significant harm to the victim. It is a criminal offense in which an individual knowingly and intentionally acquires another person's personal and identification information without consent and with the intent to commit a crime. In the context of aggravated identity theft, the criminal act goes beyond obtaining unauthorized access to the victim's data and typically involves the offender using the stolen information to commit additional offenses, resulting in severe consequences for the victim. Aggravated identity theft under New York state law. Under New York Penal Law Section 190.80a, aggravated identity theft occurs when an individual intentionally and knowingly assumes someone else's identity or uses their personal identifying information for fraudulent purposes. This offense becomes particularly serious if the perpetrator is aware that the person being impersonated is a member of the armed forces deployed outside of the continental United States. In such cases, if the perpetrator obtains goods, money, property, services, or uses credit exceeding a total value of $500 under the military personnel's identity, or causes financial harm to the impersonated military member exceeding $500, it constitutes aggravated identity theft. Aggravated identity theft under federal law. The United States established the law of aggravated identity theft in 2004, as outlined in 18 U.S.C. 1028a. This law makes it illegal to utilize someone else's identifying information under two circumstances. Firstly, it is prohibited when connected to specific federal crimes, and secondly, when linked to acts of terrorism. Penalties for aggravated identity theft. Aggravated identity theft occurs when an individual knowingly and intentionally uses another person's identity to commit a felony under state or federal law. The penalties for aggravated identity theft vary and often depend on the specific facts of each case. New York State penalties. Identity theft, categorized as a Class D felony when classified as a first-degree or aggravated offense, is a grave matter that carries significant legal consequences. These offenses are considered highly serious due to the immense impact they have on the lives of the victims. The law mandates strict punishments for such acts, including the possibility of imprisonment. In the most severe instances, individuals found guilty may face a maximum prison sentence of 7 years, underscoring the gravity of these crimes and their potential long-term ramifications. Federal penalties. The sentencing guidelines for aggravated identity theft, outlined in 18 U.S.C. 1028a, differ from those applied to most federal offenses. Instead of a range of potential sentences, this particular crime carries a fixed sentence. For a foundational felony offense, the punishment for federal aggravated identity theft is 24 months. However, if the crime is connected to federal terrorism, the penalty escalates to 60 months. Defenses to aggravated identity theft charges. Aggravated identity theft is a serious crime with severe penalties. It occurs when someone knowingly uses another person's identification with the intent to commit a felony or when someone illegally uses another person's identification information to obtain something of value. Several defenses can be used to fight these charges, including lack of knowledge or intent, consent of the victim, police misconduct or constitutional violations, and mistaken identity. Lack of knowledge or intent. A vital element in prosecuting aggravated identity theft is proving that the accused had knowledge of the crime and intended to commit it. A defense attorney may argue that their client did not realize they were using someone else's identifying information or did not have the intent to commit a crime while using the stolen identity. Consent of the victim. Identity theft charges can be defended by proving that the alleged victim gave their consent for the use of their personal information. This defense requires evidence that the victim and the defendant had a mutual agreement, which allowed the defendant to use the victim's identification. If a defendant can show a valid reason for using the victim's identity and establish that the victim was aware of it, the charges may be dropped or reduced. Police misconduct or constitutional violations. Another defense against aggravated identity theft charges involves addressing constitutional violations or police misconduct during the investigation or arrest process. Defendants can challenge the admissibility of evidence obtained through illegal searches, seizures, or other violations of their constitutional rights. Mistaken identity. Mistaken identity refers to the possibility that the defendant has been wrongfully accused of committing aggravated identity theft, and someone else is the actual perpetrator. A defendant can argue that they have been mistakenly identified as the person who committed the crime, which could be supported by providing an alibi or disproving the prosecution's claims. Getting the help of a skilled New York identity theft defense lawyer. Aggravated identity theft is a complex offense with significant potential consequences, especially in a vast and interconnected city like New York. The allegations and subsequent legal proceedings surrounding this crime can be extremely intricate, placing the accused in a vulnerable position. In such situations, the importance of seeking the help of a competent criminal defense lawyer in New York cannot be emphasized enough. Skilled New York identity theft defense lawyer Jason Bassett may be able to advocate for you, offering counsel and meticulously examining the prosecution's case. Contact the law office of Jason Bassett, PC at 631-259-6060 to schedule a consultation.